Hello, Courtyard. Here I am at our building. I've been doing some prayer sessions and counseling sessions, so that's a sign that things are slowly, gradually starting to open back up again, which is the reason why we are coming to you in this video. We want to give you the results of the survey that you took about when to return to the building for worship, give you some dates, give you some feedback to share with you what came in. So please do listen to this. We're trying to be just, open with you and make these decisions together as a family. So ready? First of all, thank you for filling out the survey. That information with the most recent and accurate health information locally and nationally, along with a grounding theology of church and what church is, and speaking to a couple of our members who are in the medical community who understand our space. All of these things together guided Jim and Jared and I last evening on Zoom as we came together and compiled all of this to make some decisions for now. So here we are. What does it say? Well, first of all, church never stopped. Church simply left the building. We've been saying that, and it is so true. Actually, by the Spirit of God in each one of you, Courtyard not only has kept doing church, but we've thrived during this time. Our Sunday morning videos have dozens more people participating and watching them than we typically have when we're in the building. We've seen you all participate and do church in new and creative ways. We have enjoyed gathering together with you on Sunday evenings for Sunday Social to go deeper into those passages. And here is another poll that's going to go out. Be ready for this one. Because on Sunday Social, originally we were having 20 something people, and that has dwindled down. And we're hearing from you that the time of that is inconvenient at 5 p.m. So we're going to put out a poll and try to find out the best time to do that, because you requested it and it showed up in the survey. That was the number 2 thing that you all wanted to continue and do, but yet the time isn't good. So look for information on that to let us know when the best time is to do that. Book study, going through Mere Christianity to learn about how to defend the faith in our time with friends near and far. It's been awesome to join the Romeros and Clay and the Murrays and like Mary Kate, members from other churches coming in for these conversations on Wednesday evening. That one is consistently pulling a pretty big crowd. We're having a lively conversation in there. In Mere Christianity, we're going to dig in to Present Perfect by Gregory Boyd next after this one. So join that. We are thriving. Church is happening and we are thriving. So what did the survey say? Here's some more information. The only question that 100% of you agreed upon was the first one. 100% of you said that we as a congregation, not just a leadership, we as a congregation have done an excellent job meeting each other's physical, spiritual, mental, and emotional needs during this isolation. So well done, church. 100% of you agreed. Most of you strongly agreed with that statement. Also on the survey, 81% said that you wanted to wait until phase 3 to return to the building when less health modifications were necessary. Also, 1/3 of you said that having to follow the governor's health recommendations would keep you from entering into the building, like wearing masks, keeping social distance, no food or drink, no children's classes, these types of things that would keep you from the building. So if we were to gather now, what this shows us is that it would be with a much smaller group than what constitutes our full church body, which leads to another survey result. 60% of you, well over half of you, said that factor, coming back to the building together, not leaving anyone behind, but when we come back, we all come back. 60% of you said that was extremely important to you. All of that, though, means that 20% of you voted to return to the building for worship now. During phase 2, one of you even said last week you would have liked to have been here. Maybe you're missing physical presence, face-to-face worship. Maybe the digital format just isn't your spiritual pathway. Maybe it's some other reason that we're not aware of, but we want you, 20%, to know that we see you, we hear you, but with the format of an anonymous survey, we don't know who you are. So if you don't mind, please reveal yourself to us. so that we can meet your needs, because we want to meet the needs of everybody in the congregation. Make sure that you're being able to experience nearness with God and each other, even during this time. So if you need something, let us know. Call a brother or sister at Courtyard, and let's all be spiritually fed as we continue to do church, even in this time. Okay, so we've looked down a little bit at some survey results. Let's look up around our community. What are we seeing? We're seeing that some churches are going back into their building for worship in June. And we've looked at many of those re-entry plans locally and nationally, next to the governor's recommendations for North Carolina, next to the NIH recommendations, and we find them to be quite complicated, and they vary greatly. At bare minimum, no children's classes and social distancing. We are prayerful and pretty confident that the majority of those churches who are going back into their buildings for worship here in phase 2 are going to be able to do so without incident. But we also know, as we look up and around, that weekly churches that have opened up are having to close again. This week, I know of 2 churches, so who knows how many others are out there, one in Georgia and one in Houston, where they opened up in May. This isn't going back to March. Like, they opened up 2 weeks ago, and this week they had to shut back down because of COVID outbreaks in their congregation, even resulting in death. That's what we see when we look up and around. And family, we miss worshiping face to face. It is so important, and there's nothing like it. And we will get back to doing that as soon as we can say with peace that to gather together at the building is a move of love in the model of Christ for each other. But as it is right now, we don't see any reason for Courtyard to volunteer to be the canary in the mine, so to speak. We have a great piece about looking around and giving things a little bit more time, because we're learning more information about COVID-19 every week, how it works, what it does, the numbers, new studies come out all the time. In fact, you may have seen this week that credible survey, that credible scientific result, which is kind of a challenge too, right? Trying to find out what the truth is out there, that said that the virus is not spread through surface areas as dangerously as once thought, which is great news. And it greatly informs what it looks like for us to come back into the building. So family, with all of this information, we have great peace about giving scientists a little bit more time to figure out what we're dealing with, giving the virus a little bit more time to do what it's going to do, giving us more time to gather accurate, healthful information, and giving the Spirit of God more time to teach us these lessons that we're learning about doing church outside of the building. After all, that's how Jesus did all of his ministry, isn't it? Outside of the building. That doesn't mean that we're never coming back. We will return, prayerfully sooner than later. This is not an indefinite situation, but we want to take a little bit more time to be a little bit more pragmatic about it, to give you a glimpse behind that curtain of what it looks like to open things back up again. We are not going to defy the government's recommendations. As a community building, we're going to comply with that, and that means 6 feet social distancing, which most space calculators put at 113 square feet per person. And our sanctuary out here is about 1,200 square feet, and you consider family units, so we're looking at about 25 people who could be up here. So then we have to decide, okay, which 25 people are worshiping in the church building and which 25 or more are worshiping from home. How do you decide that? And how do we create a meaningful worship service for both groups without overwhelming the leadership and those who are facilitating the service? It just gets exponentially more complicated. And we want to move in love, and we want to lower your anxiety. Also something that scored pretty high on that survey, rather than increasing it. So we're prayerful and hopeful that over the next few weeks, not months, not years, weeks, that these barriers are going to dissolve and diminish so that we can return here to the church building as one united body together with low anxiety to worship in person, even singing even singing. I think it was like 61% of you said that if we returned right now, you would not want to be singing. And that's a big part of church for us. So in the meantime, what do? Well, we're going to learn all those lessons that God has to teach us about church. In the meantime, you put in 2 or 3 dozen comments about the lessons that you're learning, a desire for Zoom to continue on Wednesday nights after the virus, to keep that going. You talked about wanting more interaction in the worship service, more interaction in the communion service, art in worship, background music. You had so many comments. Keep those coming. Keep listening to what God is doing as God fills the temple wherever you are. God does not only fill this temple holy space, God is filling the temple of your soul, your family, your home, revealing lessons about what church means in our time to you. Listen, family, observe, maybe keep a journal, let us know, take note, because we want to come back together with all of that. Here's some dates, some important dates, because when we come back together, we're going to come back together on fire for what God is doing, better than we have ever been, just not this week. So what are those dates? Tomorrow, worship. The video will be posted late tonight. You can watch it at your convenience tomorrow to worship with your family. The Barna Group, that does a lot of research for churches, recently reported this week that 48%, nearly half of church goers, are not participating in their online worship services. Family, let's commit to continue to keeping the Sabbath holy. Let's commit to worshiping, even digitally. That same study said that digital worship was proving to be as or more moving and transformative than physical face-to-face worship, which is a little bit concerning for church leaders. What does that mean, right? But these are important things to know. Don't skip out on that just because it's digital. It can be extremely moving and powerful, and it's what we have right now. And digital will probably be a bigger part of church going forward than it has in the past. So let's dive into that together. Don't skip that sacred time. Gathering together for worship here is a privilege and a blessing, but worship is essential. Prayer is essential. Discipleship and faith community is essential, and we need to make sure that we are continuing to participate in those essential aspects of our faith, even when we can't be here in the building, which is a blessing and a wonderful thing, but it's just not the right time for that right now. I am here right now, and Angela is downstairs finishing the cleaning. She's still been coming here every single week, disinfecting at a heightened level. It smells amazing in here. It is perfectly clean. So we're keeping up with all of that. We're flushing all of the pipes. We're doing all of these things, even in this time that we're not in the building. What can you do this week? What other dates do we have? Call 3 people, courtyard people, hear their voice, see their face, at least 3 courtyard people to remain in each other's lives. Join that Wednesday book club on Zoom. Even if you haven't been keeping up with it or you don't have the book, who cares? Join us anyway. Jump into the conversation. It is lively and amazing. You can even watch the Mere Christianity chapters on YouTube if you don't have the book. So look for that link. Do home projects together, deliver meals together. Some of you are gathering together in small groups on Sunday morning as you feel safe to do so for those worship services, small groups of 2 to 5 in your homes. Do that. If you need that, call each other up and do that. Chalk the Block was supposed to be today, but because of the rain and this weather, we've postponed that to Monday. So Monday, here at the corner, outside, 6 feet apart, we're going to put sidewalk chalk on the sidewalk to encourage and bless our community that passes by that way. And we're going to have more of these outdoor fellowship events happening, where we're going to gradually step back into this space. June 6th, for example, Saturday, June 6th, we're going to have a campfire fellowship. We might play some cornhole and hang out. It'll be a bring your own food, bring your own chair situation. But join us for that. Outdoors, we'll be here then. The food pantry is going to be open on Thursday if you need to use that. The blanket ministry, very small group around those big tables, sewing no-sew blankets for the women's abuse shelter is opening back up in June. We're not going to wait for phase 3 for that. The week of June 7th, after our Campfire Fellowship, the leadership is going to meet again, and we're going to look at the churches locally that have opened up and how that's going for them. We're going to gather up all that information from you and from science and health professionals again, and we're going to see where we're at. We will reevaluate, and we're going to look at the best practices that churches are using and seek to implement those. But family, we don't see any reason, we don't have peace to rush into this with the information that we have right now, especially with the feedback from you all, 81% asking that we wait. So we're going to respect that. We love you. We love you. When I think about you all, my heart bleeds and breaks and smiles. You are so loved. We hear you. We are here for you. We see you. If you have needs, please do express them to us. And it is such an honor to do church with you, even now, even in these times. So stay in touch with each other, do church together, and we're going to be in touch. But see you tomorrow on the worship video. Participate in that. Send it to family members. Send it to friends. We've been sending them to neighbors. We have so many people who are participating in these worship services. Tomorrow is the last one in our series, Joining Jesus in Our Margins. People all around the country are participating in that. Maybe you're behind, so binge watch it with your family. It's easy to get caught up when it's on video. But worship is essential. Don't skip that. Faith is essential. Prayer, faith community, essential. So keep participating in all of those things as we can in these new and exciting ways. And we will see you very soon. May the Lord bless you and keep you.